Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. So it doesn't take very long to figure out that I got a mess going on here. And my goal with the new shop was to not have said mess. So I got to do something about this. Um, some of this stuff that's up here is for the project that we're talking about today, but a lot of it is not. Okay. This is from the last project. This is from the last project. This is my router, and I just don't have places for this stuff. I set them on my stool, and that spins, and that's no good. So I gotta get my organization on. Is that what they still say? I don't know. So I have this whole chasm here underneath here, and I'm going to put two drawers under there. And I've already done a little bit of pre-work uh, to have a place to put the drawer because I didn't think about this when I built the miter station. And so I did what everybody does. I went to YouTube and found out, can I even do this? And there's a video from, I think this guy posted it 10 years ago. And this is a great idea. If you have a bench that you didn't take into consideration adding drawers to, you can still add drawers to it. Every single one of my benches is that way. So I'm going to put two drawers in here, and I'll bring you over and show you what I did. And so that you can do this too if you want to. Now that's the part that I will say you can do this too. I've never built a drawer in my life. Okay. It might come out crooked. I don't know. I built a box. And so I figure a drawer is a box without a top. Let me just bring you over and show you what I did. So you can see basically out of 2x4s, I have made two what I'll call drop downs because I have to have some place for the drawer slides to go on. And if I bring this up, okay, basically that's not really going to be the depth of my drawer because I can have it extend a little bit lower than the slides. What I ran into with this is when I built the bench, I didn't take into consideration, as I said, that I was going to put drawers in it. So there's things that are not straight, things that are crookeder than a dog's hind leg. And from what I'm understanding, if you're going to put drawer slides on, you better be parallel and straight. I was not. Lots of shims going on here, folks. Lots and lots of shims. But I got it within a 16th, and I think I'll be fine with that. So just real quick, here's how I built it. It's 2x4s, which is another problem you're going to run into. There's going to be warp in your 2x4. I don't know what to tell you. For this, all I did was drill some pocket holes on each side, glued it together, screwed it in. I think in hindsight, I would do two on one side and one on the other just to draw it in straight because this has it wants to pull this way when you run them screws in. That's just something I ran into. It may help you, it may not, I don't know. But this on the other side is all nice and flat. That's what my runners are going on. It's not a runner, it's a drawer slide, right? Get the terminology right, would you? So to make my drawers, I'm going to be using what I have the most of left over, which is OSB wafer board, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's recommended to make drawers out of this, but I'm going to because it's what I got, and plywood's expensive. So what I did was I measured my opening, which was 15 3/4. I measured both drawer slides, runners, anyway, the roller part. I measured those, and both of them together equal 1 inch. So you have to subtract an inch from the width of your drawers, we're giving me 14 3/4 inches wide. I can go 20 inches deep, and that's going to be okay. I would like for the drawers to be about 6.5 inches deep, mainly because this guy right here is 6 inches. And so I'd like to be able to put that in the drawer, send it away. So I'm going to jump sides with you here, and I'm going to go to the other. First, I'm going to clean my bench off because otherwise I can't run this stuff through the table saw. All right, so using OSB, I have a lot of these cutoffs about this size, and I'm not going to let them go to waste. I do have some shelves I'm going to build also, but I still have two full 4x8 sheets of this in the house that my wife would love to see out of there. Not anytime soon. What I'm going to use is what's known as the quarter method of using drawers, because I think it's the easiest. And I'm using 7/16 OSB, which I ran a test earlier, and it's actually closer to 1/2 inch. It's sort of in between. But it'll still work with the quarter method. And at least that's what I've heard. So what I have to do is take into account a 1/4 inch on each side. So if my width is supposed to be 14 3/4, I need to add 2/4 inch, 1/4 inch to each side, a 1/2 inch. 15 1/4 is what I need to cut this. Okay. Math. Are you kidding me? It's late enough that the coffee should have kicked in. Anyway, so we're going to set this to 15 1/4. And I like giving you guys tips along the way if I can, even though I don't really know what I'm doing. But here's a tip. I had a couple screws that I had taken out of something, and I set them up in the valley of my fence here. Don't do that, because what happens is they fall down into your locking mechanism, and then you say, what in the world's the matter with my fence? And it's not the fence, it's the screw that you left in there that fell down in there. Don't do that, okay? Be smarter than me. What am I doing? 15 1/4. Ay, ay, ay. That didn't take long. Okay, the next one, again, 20 inches deep is my drawer. What I'm doing is making the base, the under part, the bottom of the drawer. Okay, 20 inches deep. I need to add a 1/2 inch to that, 1/4 on either end. This is a bit of a sketchy cut, because they say you don't want this much width. Yeah, but I don't really have much of a choice. I have to do it this way. So I'm just going to be real careful. Does that count? Safety glasses. I see a problem already. Way too much junk. Try it again. Another reason I got to do this, I got too much junk on my bench. Let me tell you what it did. First off, I screwed up. Maybe this is perfect. Let me look at this one first. Maybe I did it on purpose. Perfect. It's perfect. Friends, we're going to call this a happy accident. Okay, here's what happened. I looked at the wrong marker on my fence, because I was actually setting it from over there. Don't ask me why. So the one that is for the left side of the blade, I set that at 20 1/2. What I was really cutting was 20 3/4. Now, it's a happy accident because this is 20 1/8. I take 1/8 off of this and I'm good to go. Happy accident. A happy accident is better than an accident where this thing comes back and whaps me in the head. We don't like those accidents. So I'll clean this up to the right measurement and then we'll move on. So next I have to cut my lengths. And I'm going to do that on my table saw because after running through tests on, remember on the last one I said I don't trust anything, trust no one. It's like the X-Files, trust no one. Please tell me you guys are as old as I am and you remember that show. Anyway, the miter saw is not accurate. I still have some adjustments I have to do on it. I thought I had it, but apparently I don't. So I should have known it was going to take me more than 10 minutes to set it up. Everything is back together the way it's supposed to be, and it's solid, but it's not cutting square. So I know I squared this up right before I started the video, and I know that this is cutting square to the blade. So I'm just going to use this just for my own sanity, which is already gone. So now I cut my lengths. I need 2 at 14 3/4 and 2 at 20 inches. And we're ready, I think, to start doing something else. I don't know. All right. I'm just going to talk for a quick second about this design. Everyone's got a miter fence. Most people throw away the one that comes with the. Most people throw away the one that comes with the saw. I did not. It does all right for me. It's straight to the blade, but I made it so that it comes past the blade. And the only person that I've seen do this is what is this channel? Newton Makes, Newton Makes. He does some really intricate design, but he does this on his, and I love it because as you saw, when I'm pushing that board through, it's going to continue to push the waste piece out of the way so it's not bouncing off the blade and going through your wall. Anyway, just want to talk about that real quick. Okay, next up, I put my dado blade in. A couple things about that. You guys have used dado blades. I know the guys that watch this channel, that you comment all the time, you know how to do this. But for those who don't, first off, read the instructions that came with your dado blade, Norm Abrams always says. Because I just looked at mine and found out that I've never used my dado for anything under a 1/2 inch. But mine, for instance, when using just the 2 outside blades, I have to have 2 24,000th shims in there. I didn't know that. I was just going to put them together and be done. And that's okay, but I wouldn't have gotten a 1/4 inch. Okay, you want to set your height to a 1/4 inch. So I have a 1/4 inch blade, I have a 1/4 inch height. And the way I do this is MDF that I know is a 1/4 inch. I get my blade to the top of its stroke. I'll set that on there and I'll kneel down. And I know that that blade is lifting up higher. And when that comes down flush, I know I'm there. Yeah, it's right there. So I know I'm set for a 1/4 inch. I'm not going to need this where I'm going. Put that over here. And that goes over there somewhere. Move some more junk out of the way. Now we set the fence to a 1/4 inch also. And we say, ooh, golly, that's close. Oh, you know what? No, don't use your fence. Because you have a dado blade in, it's going to change your fence. Okay? So measure this. Because if I set this to a 1/4 inch, I'd be cutting through the middle of my fence, and Lord knows I don't want to do that. All right, 1/4 inch is what we're aiming for. That's not going to work. There's what we're looking for. Love it. Okay. I recommend a 0 clearance for this. The battery died, by the way. Don't need that anymore. Don't need this. I'm recommending a 0 clearance for this because one of the cuts we're going to have to do, let's just say you're going to need a 0 clearance for it. Okay, good enough. So now what we do is we just run all of these through. If you want the green side up, great. I don't. And we're going to put a 1/4 inch groove or dado or slot in every single one of these. Okay, now, without moving the fence, that's pretty much the beauty of this, is that once you have your fence set, you're not moving it through the whole operation. Without moving your fence, you now want a 1/4 inch groove that goes from top to bottom, 1/4 inch from the side. Okay. I didn't understand this when I first started researching this either. It's all going to make sense unless I mess it up, and then it won't. So now we're going to do, it doesn't matter which, whatever, grooves in every side. I need a switch for that thing that's over here because I'm sick of walking over there. Okay, I messed up. If you guys who have done this know where I messed up, go ahead and put it down there. Let the others know I messed up. Your ends, I shouldn't have put that groove here. Okay. And it's part of the locking system. So what I'm going to do, I'll tell you, this stuff's splintering. What I'm going to do is go ahead and make 2 new ends, and then we'll come back in and I'll explain where I messed up and why it's better if you do it the right way. I mean, it's always better if you do it the right way. Okay. Now, as I said, you're going to run 1/4 inch grooves in your drawer sides along the bottom and on each end. On your ends, you're only going to do it at the bottom. Now, okay, this part is confusing also. So I am going to take a second, make sure I'm giving you the right information here. Okay, that's going to go that. Okay. Because the next thing we're going to do, this one's called a rabbit, I think. Okay. We are going to run your end opposite of the dado that you put in, like that. Now, it's a sketchy cut, but you're also using a dado. If you're not comfortable, put a higher fence on there. I'm going to run it through like that, but this is why you need a zero clearance, because once you start cutting away, if you've got a gap there, it's going to drop in there, and you don't want that. So we're going to do that on both ends of what would be your drawer face. Think of it that way. What would be your drawer face? You're cutting that rabbit out. Okay, let's try that and see what happens. Okay, so the reason for that, groove for my bottom, and line up with my groove for the bottom here. Now you have this. Come on now, don't make me a liar. And that's going to fit in there. Okay, it fits, honest, it does. There we go. Okay, you're not going to do a dovetail joint on shop drawers, but the nice thing about this is now that's locked in there, and when you're pulling on this drawer, you're not going to pull the face of it off. It's locked in there. Okay, even if it's only by 1/4 inch, but that's pretty potent. So, and I mean, it's pretty nice. Once I get glue in there, that bad boy, she ain't going nowhere. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to cut this other piece, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do with the bottom. Okay, because it's going to be a similar janktified cut. Okay, so just as we did with our end pieces, we're going to do with the bottom of the drawer. I know some of you were probably thinking you're working with 7/16 material, but you're running a 1/4 inch groove. Okay, well, yeah, you're right. And this is what I was lost on too. And of all the videos I watched last night to figure out how to do this, including the one where I still messed up, there was one gentleman that explained how you could use a 1/2 inch material or 7/16 or whatever and still use a 1/4 inch groove. And just like we did the drawer faces, we're going to do the same thing with our bottom. And that's going to leave us a 1/4 inch tab that'll fit in the slot, and it'll be great. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and then we're ready to start putting this bad boy together already. It's not even 2 o'clock yet. Okay, I'm going to test fit before I start slinging glue on here, because even as I was cutting this bottom piece, I was noticing that it seems like it's, you know, a little bit not right. That's what I'm saying. So we're just going to test to make sure all this fits. Ow. If I had a hammer. Oh, it's in. Okay. Cool. It's not nearly where it's supposed to go, but it's in. Or did I make this really? What do you? Huh. Someone's detected on my front porch cam. Did I cut the wrong piece? I don't think that I did. Somebody's at my house. Okay, I have what looks like a box without a top. Nothing's glued together. It's just fit together for right now. I would like to tell you that I simply walked from the table saw where you're at over to here and put it together and it worked fine, but it did not. And I will always tell you when I screw up so that hopefully you can laugh and of course learn to. I was way off on my drawer bottom size and I couldn't figure out why if I put this side in and kicked this side out. Well, my math was wrong. You know how I feel about math. Anyway, if I had to give you tips about that, yeah, I don't know what they would be. Put your box together without the bottom and measure what the inside is and add a 1/2 inch. I didn't do that. And that's where I messed up. So, but now it's together, I just glue it up. And then I have to figure out how drawer slides work. So that'll be another 4 hours, probably. I don't know. Let me get this bad boy glued up and we'll go from there. So it's all glued up. The video that I watched said the great thing about this is you only need 2 clamps. Well, I went with slightly more than that. I guess if you're using Baltic birch like everybody on YouTube does, yeah, you can get away with 2 clamps. I'm using OSB, janky OSB, but it is together, it is glued, and it's square. So I'm going to let this sit overnight, or at least for a few hours anyway, before I start deciding whether or not I'm going to do drawer slides today. I have to do them today. I got a couple of young boys coming in tomorrow, and we are going to concentrate on a couple of Mother's Day gifts for their mom. And I'm excited about that because it gets kids in the shop. It gets them off of a video game. So I'm going to do a little bit of prep work tonight so that when they get here tomorrow, we're not fumbling around trying to get wood ready and get the design figured out. So I'm going to get that taken care of tonight so tomorrow we can just cruise through a couple gifts. And they're excited to be here. And so I'm excited for them to be here. So we're going to set this aside. Maybe I'll come back to it tonight, get the drawer slides and everything finished up. We'll see what happens after I eat dinner. Well, it's been a few hours, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. It should at least be set up enough that it ain't going to fall apart when I do that. Now, this is the downfall of using 14,762 clamps, is now I got to take them all off. So I'm going to get jamming on that, and then we're going to figure out how to put slide rails on. Where does that even go? I don't even know. All right, we'll get this figured out. I don't know. Okay. Once again, I'd like to tell you that it was easy getting to this part. Sorry, I didn't film any of this. Actually turned into a giant nightmare, not because of this, although that, oh, okay. Oh, I'm hitting a screw. So when we opened the box, screws went everywhere and I did not retract them all. So I'm not going to get the full deal there. That's okay. I can get the right screws later. As it turned out, my box came out bigger than I thought it was going to. And therefore, this opening was no longer the correct size. Well, I could have scrapped the whole thing and made a new box, but I didn't want to do that. I like that box. It came out pretty well. So I took the brackets down, took them to the table saw, and basically just chucked out, I think it was 9/16 of material, and then screwed them back in place. That's how far off I was. But I can still put the drawers in even though I'm not getting the full extension there. So let's see how this works. Okay, so that's the drawer. Obviously have to put some kind of pull on it. And I'm not even that tore up that it hits that screw and doesn't come out as far as it's supposed to, because actually that's the back of the drawer right there. So I don't need anything else besides that. It does close and it does open. Wait a minute. Still plugged in. Get in there. Boom. All right, folks, there you go. I always hated the thumbnails that other people use that said, mistakes were made, and I swore I'd never do it. But there were some serious mistakes made on this. I learned. I have 4 more drawers to make, and you can believe me, it's going to go better. Everything's a learning process. Perseverance of Paul. You've heard me say it before. You just adapt and overcome. But I have a drawer. I think I am going to put a face on it. Yes, I did want it to stay back that far because I don't want all the dust going in there. I got about a 1/4 inch gap so I can put a face on it. I don't know what kind of face to put on it though. Maybe a happy face. Because I'm not going to use oak or cherry or something like that. Maybe I'll just get another piece of that OSB and put that on there. But anyway, folks, there it is. 1 drawer down, 4 more to go. But hopefully you learned something, even if it's what not to do. I would think maybe, I don't know, build the box first, except I had very specific sizes I had to go with. So I just have to learn that making this style box is going to make it bigger than what I think. And so that's what I need to go off of. But there you go. What I need to tell you is that the Tuesday after Easter, there will not be a video. I'm going to take that week off because Easter, you know how that works. But I appreciate you watching. I hope you hung in there for the whole thing. If you did, I appreciate it. I don't have to often ask this, but if you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you want to share, share. If you want to like. If you want to ring the ding dong bell, whatever it is, I don't care. Or if you just want to come back and watch again, you can do that too. I don't really mind one way or the other. In the meantime, thanks for watching. God bless. I'll see you on the next one.